In a world full of distractions, opinions, and chaos, how would it feel if nothing could bother you anymore? Imagine walking through life unfazed, no matter what's thrown your way. It sounds almost impossible, but what if I told you this is something you can achieve? Today, we'll dive deep into how you can achieve this powerful state of mind through Stoicism, a mindset that has empowered the greatest philosophers, leaders, and individuals throughout history. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't, offering a path to mental clarity, emotional resilience, and inner peace. If you're ready to gain control over your emotional responses and learn how to stay calm under pressure, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Let's explore how this ancient philosophy can change the way you experience the world around you. Stoicism isn't about ignoring the world or becoming emotionless. It's about understanding what's truly in your control and what's not. This ancient philosophy teaches us that while we can't control everything around us, we have full control over how we respond to the events and challenges that life throws our way. One of the most profound teachings of Stoicism comes from the philosopher Epictetus, who famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This wisdom emphasizes that external events don't disturb us. It's our perceptions and reactions to those events that create emotional turmoil. For example, when faced with a setback or criticism, it's not the setback itself that causes frustration, but the way we interpret it and the meaning we attach to it. The Stoics believed that by recognizing and accepting what is within our control, we can free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. Things like other people's actions, the weather, or global events are all beyond our influence. But our thoughts, decisions, and reactions, those are entirely within our grasp. This understanding allows us to navigate life with a sense of calm and clarity, no matter what's happening around us. The key to Stoic philosophy is perspective. By changing the way we perceive situations, we can shift our emotional responses. The next time you find yourself frustrated, ask, "Is this truly a problem? Or is it merely my perception of it?" By reframing challenges as opportunities for growth or tests of character, we can take control of our emotional state, making it less likely for external events to dictate our inner peace. Our thoughts shape our reality. What we think is what we become. If you allow every negative thought to control you, the outside world will feel like chaos. The power of thought is one of the most transformative aspects of Stoicism. It's not just about controlling what happens to us, but about managing how we perceive and respond to those events. When we allow negative or unproductive thoughts to take over, our external world seems to reflect that inner turmoil. Conversely, if we focus on positive, rational thinking, we can experience more peace and stability, regardless of what's going on around us. Epicurus, though often associated with Epicureanism, shared ideas that align closely with Stoic teachings, especially when it comes to mastering thoughts. He advised his followers to reflect on their thoughts and question whether they truly serve us. Are we dwelling on things outside our control, or are we choosing calm and clarity? By scrutinizing our thoughts and separating the things we can change from those we cannot, we create space for mental peace. It's easy to get caught up in worries about the future or frustrations with others, but Epicurus's wisdom reminds us to focus on the present moment and our own mental state. One of the most practical ways to begin mastering your mindset is to incorporate a daily practice of reflection. Each morning, take 5 minutes to ask yourself, "What's within my control today, and what isn't?" This simple exercise can set the tone for a peaceful day. By starting your day with this intentional reflection, you're more likely to approach challenges with a Stoic mindset, focusing on your own actions and reactions rather than the uncontrollable aspects of life. It's a small but powerful way to gain control over your emotional responses and create a sense of calm that will carry you through the day. To act as if nothing bothers you, you must first learn detachment. This doesn't mean you stop caring, but rather you stop letting outside forces control your emotions. Detachment is the art of releasing your attachment to outcomes, opinions, and situations that are beyond your control. It's about maintaining a sense of inner peace, despite what's happening in the external world. The more detached we become from external events, the less they have the power to disturb our emotional state. This stoic practice allows us to respond to life's challenges with calmness and clarity. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, taught extensively about the role of detachment in achieving inner tranquility. He famously wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This insight highlights how our minds often distort situations, blowing them out of proportion. When something happens that we perceive as negative, we often amplify the problem in our thoughts, turning it into something much larger than it is. Seneca's wisdom encourages us to recognize that many of the things we worry about never come to pass, and those that do often aren't as catastrophic as we imagine. By detaching from these exaggerated mental scenarios, we can reduce the emotional weight we carry. To practice emotional detachment, try this simple exercise. When something triggers you, take a step back. Imagine it's happening to someone else, and ask yourself, would I react the same way if this were happening to them? This shift in perspective helps you detach from the emotional charge of the situation and allows you to respond more calmly and rationally. By seeing things from a neutral standpoint, you can avoid getting swept up in unnecessary emotional reactions. Another key practice that fosters detachment is mindfulness and presence. The more present you are, the less chance your mind has to ruminate on past mistakes or future fears. By focusing on the present moment, we free ourselves from the endless cycle of worry and regret. The present moment is where peace resides, and by grounding ourselves in it, we can remain unbothered by the distractions and challenges of life. Stoicism teaches us that every challenge is an opportunity. Instead of viewing setbacks as failures, we can choose to see them as lessons that help us grow. Life is full of obstacles, but it's not the obstacles themselves that define us. It's how we choose to respond to them. By shifting our perspective, we can transform difficulties into stepping stones for personal development. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, offers profound insight on how to approach adversity. He famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This perspective encourages us to see obstacles as a path forward, not as something to avoid. Rather than getting frustrated or defeated by difficulties, we can embrace them as opportunities for growth. Each challenge forces us to adapt, to think differently, and to develop new skills. What once seemed like a roadblock becomes a chance to move forward with more wisdom and strength. Real-life examples of resilience powerfully demonstrate this mindset. Nelson Mandela, for instance, spent 27 years in prison, yet instead of being broken by his incarceration, he used that time to strengthen his resolve and deepen his sense of purpose. Rather than dwelling on the unfairness of his situation, Mandela viewed his imprisonment as an opportunity to refine his character, and upon his release, he emerged as a leader with a calm, focused spirit. His ability to turn hardship into a force for personal growth exemplifies the Stoic ideal of seeing adversity as a catalyst for progress. You can apply this Stoic perspective to your own life as well. Think about a recent challenge you faced, maybe a difficult project, a personal setback, or a tough situation at work. How can you reframe that experience as an opportunity for growth? Instead of focusing on what went wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this challenge to become better, stronger, and more resilient? By consciously reframing difficulties as opportunities, you'll begin to see life's obstacles as valuable lessons rather than insurmountable problems. It's easy to be controlled by emotions like anger, frustration, or sadness. Many of us place too much weight on our emotions and seek constant validation from external sources, whether it's approval from others or the outcome of a situation. Stoicism teaches us that emotional control is a skill we can cultivate, one that allows us to maintain inner peace even in challenging circumstances. By learning to regulate our emotions, we stop allowing them to dictate our actions, and instead, we take control over how we respond. One of the most common misconceptions is the myth of the perfect reaction. We often think we need to react perfectly in every situation. Be always calm, always composed, always in control. However, this pursuit of perfection can actually create more stress. Stoicism isn't about being flawless in our responses. It's about being wise in our responses. The goal is not to eliminate every negative emotion or reaction, but to recognize when they arise and choose how to respond thoughtfully and calmly rather than being swept away by them. There are practical exercises we can use to help us cultivate emotional control. One effective technique is to simply pause before reacting. The next time you're triggered, take a moment to count to 10 before responding. This small act of pausing gives you the space to detach from the immediate emotional surge and allows you to regain your composure. In that moment, you can reflect on how you want to respond, rather than reacting impulsively or being controlled by your emotions. Another valuable practice is deep breathing. When you feel your emotions rising, take a few deep breaths to center yourself. This simple exercise can help reset your nervous system and bring you back into a calm, focused state. Journaling is also a powerful tool to process your feelings, identify triggers, and reflect on your emotional responses in a non-judgmental way. By making emotional regulation a regular practice, you build resilience and become less vulnerable to the emotional highs and lows that often come with life's challenges. Daily reflection is a key practice in Stoicism, as it allows us to assess our actions, thoughts, and reactions, helping us continuously grow. At the end of each day, ask yourself, how did I handle the challenges today? Was I able to maintain my calm? What can I improve tomorrow? This simple act of reflection helps us identify patterns in our behavior, recognize areas for improvement, and reinforce the positive actions we took. Stoics viewed mistakes not as failures, but as opportunities for growth. In Stoic philosophy, failure isn't something to be ashamed of, it's something to learn from. When we make a mistake, it's a moment to pause, reflect, and ask ourselves what we can do differently in the future. By embracing our errors as part of the learning process, we develop resilience and wisdom. Every setback is simply another chance to refine our character. A practical daily practice to encourage this growth is journaling or meditating on the day's events. Take a few minutes before bed to write down your thoughts, what went well, what didn't, and how you can approach similar situations differently next time. This reflective practice helps solidify the Stoic mindset of constant improvement and emotional resilience, making each day an opportunity for self-mastery and growth.